First and foremost, I think this is such a bittersweet time. It's an opportunity for all of us to say thank you for your wonderful years of service to our district, to our community, especially to our kids. We can't thank you enough. But we are so excited about every one of you taking those next steps, either to retirement or whatever your next adventure may be. We can't say this without sincerity. Your impact across our district has been immense. Looking around the room and knowing many, many of you and what you have done for our kids, I know that generations are impacted by what you've done. We can't say thank you enough for that. I do know you're not here to listen to me speak, so I will move into the program, and as we go through the program, we'll call up either our building principals or some of the supervisors. They're going to say a few words about each of the retirees or those that are here for the service recognition. Just so people are aware, it's either a retirement or 10 years of service within the district, at least 10 years that you are here for this recognition. We have gift bags for everybody. There's a commemorative plaque. There's also a gift certificate from our school foundation as thank you, as well as a few other tokens in there just to show our appreciation again for all that you've done for our students. So up first is Mr. Tyler Ruiz.
No clapping. All right. As Dr. P7, my name is Tyler Ruiz. I'm the principal at Cedar Heights Elementary. Here to talk about a couple teachers and a paraeducator. We're going to start with Tammy Vanderwerf. Tammy Vanderwerf is finishing her 31st year in education. She has worked for Dyke, Hartford, Waterloo, and Cedar Falls Community Schools. Tammy, I'm ready for this next one. She has been a general education teacher in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, 6th grade being done virtually. She has been a special education teacher for grades 2 through 10, with 5 through 10 being done virtually. She has also spent some time teaching Title I in grades K through 2 and computer technology in grades K through 6. Tammy, I don't know if there's anything you haven't done in education yet. You've checked a lot of boxes there. In retirement, Tammy is looking forward to being out and about during the daytime, spending time with her daughter as she travels for her photography business, continuing to help develop the Grace Room at Hope City Church for kids with special needs, and becoming a delivery and postpartum doula. I think I said that right? Still don't know exactly what that is, but I know you'll share with me. Tammy has formed so many strong and caring relationships with both kids and adults during her time as an educator. She has loved looking for connections that could be made, especially with some of those students who are the toughest to find those connections with. She has always made it a priority to be real and her authentic self with her students, and her students have felt comfortable with being themselves around her. She has enjoyed being able to set high but realistic expectations for students and help them find success inside and outside the classroom. Tammy has loved getting the chance to attend graduations, weddings, sporting events, and birthday parties of current and former students. And of course, she has found some time to enjoy holding a new baby when that opportunity has come. Over her many years in education, Tammy has never stopped looking for the fun in the role of being a teacher. Whether it's during the crazy moment of a squirrel getting in the classroom and her teacher hopping up on a desk, or driving around a convertible during the pandemic with another teaching partner, having squirt guns and bringing smiles to so many faces during such tough times. Tammy has constantly done this job for the kids, and I have been really fortunate to get to see her do her thing these last 3 years. I've always told her that she's a dreamer and always up for trying new and crazy ideas that may just be the missing piece to building a skill for a student or getting them motivated to engage in the learning. She has truly given it all to the kids over the years, and she has touched so many lives along the way. Tammy, I wish you the best in your well-deserved retirement and can't wait to hear more stories of you making a positive impact on people's lives. Thank you, Tammy Vanderwerf. Oh, Kim is here. Okay. Kim Pierce is the next one. Kim got very specific on her time in education. Cedar Falls Schools, 24 3/4 years, according to IFRS, correct? Got that right. She has worked at Lincoln Elementary, Pete Junior High, and Cedar Heights Elementary. She's worked in grades K through 6, along with 8th grade. In retirement, Kim is looking forward to traveling at any time of the year, shopping while others are at work, and being able to take a nap whenever she wants. That is definitely high on the list. Kim, did you get the nap in before you came today? Excellent job. Kim has been a steady and driving force for many years at Cedar Heights. She has gone above and beyond with being a paraeducator. She has been the leader of our school safety patrol program for many years. This is a role that Kim has taken very seriously, and she has done a tremendous job with it. I cannot imagine someone else being able to do a better job than she has done. In fact, we're trying to find someone to do that job, Kim. No one wants to do it. She does so well with that. No one can fill those shoes. She has also helped to develop some of the strongest student leaders in our school. She has taught students about responsibility, respect, and doing what is right. Under Kim's leadership, the Safety Patrol program at Cedar Heights has done a tremendous job of producing outstanding leaders that we have sent on to Mr. Babers at Pete Junior High and beyond. And not only has Kim taken on Safety Patrol over the years, she is our #1 photographer at Cedar Heights. I can always count on her to have her camera or phone ready to capture the best moments in our school. She has been able to document the school year for so many people over the years. There hasn't been a memory book during Kim's time that isn't filled with her pictures of students and staff. Kim, you have done an amazing job of being a leader and a learner during your time in Cedar Falls. I know you are going to love seeing the world, taking multiple naps a day, and spending time with your family and friends. But we are definitely going to miss you and your presence at Cedar Heights. I know you have really enjoyed being a student right along with the students you have been working with and soaking up that teaching. So please know that if you ever want to come back and volunteer, you can listen to one more of Mrs. Brown's amazing and engaging lessons. The door is always welcome to you. Kim, enjoy your well-deserved retirement. Thank you for your years.
And that was the first thing Kim said when she came in the door. I didn't have to wake up for my nap to come here.
Oh, and she took more pictures. Excellent. Thank you, Kim.
Up next is Savannah Swiska.
Thank you. I have the opportunity to honor Jill Schulte, retiring from Hanson. Mrs. Jill Schulte is concluding her 33rd year of teaching, having lived her entire teaching career at Hanson Elementary. Jill was hired by Jim Jackson and has been supervised by every historical principal at Hanson since. Having taught 1st, 2nd, 5th grade, and most recently served as Hanson's instructional coach, Jill has endlessly poured into kids and the teaching profession with relentless dedication. Jill has made an incredible impact on the culture of Hanson. The humor she brings to the hard work makes us all remember that we're human, this job is tough, but we are tougher. Jill shows up for kids, putting their needs ahead of adults every time. Jill has a natural gift of seeing everyone's potential and leading them to the very first next step to continue their own learning. She asks genuine questions to help others recognize what has gone well and reflect on where they are going next. There is no one lead learner among us. Only Jill sharing stories of learning and results across our building, fostering curiosity among our teachers to learn together. The relationships that Jill builds with kids are evidence of her genuine care for them as young people and her belief that everyone has a place of belonging in our Hanson family. Students will stop Jill in the hallway and ask, "Can you come to our classroom today? I've been waiting for you to be there during math." Our students are better thinkers because they've had the opportunity to learn and be encouraged by Mrs. Schulte. When teachers seek Jill's input to support individual students, she always leads with, "What can they do? Tell me that." Jill is a learner with a genuine ability to create curiosity in others. She champions the efforts of those in the trenches and never misses the opportunity to encourage the people around her. Jill is the first to tell a new family, a new teacher, or even a teacher candidate in an interview that Hanson is a great place to grow and a great place to call home. She continues to say how great it is to have had a career that makes such an important impact on others and also makes saying goodbye so hard. When asking her Hanson staff what they love most about Jill, they said she's always here for a hilarious story, a life lesson, a shoulder, a laugh, and a good celebration of her hard work. Jill can throw a killer-themed back-to-school bash to kick off a brand new year and plan opportunities for our staff to connect outside of school. She's not afraid to light a fire under you if you really deserve it, and when your kids need it most. She has been Mama Jill to me, the voice of honesty that I've needed in navigating my young adult life. Although our time together has been 7 short years of your 33-year career at Hanson, I will be forever grateful to have been your partner in this work. I can say with great confidence that I'm a better leader for having had the opportunity to learn, reflect, struggle, laugh, and work alongside you. As Brene Brown would say, courage has a ripple effect. Every time we choose courage, we make everyone around us just a little bit better and the world a little braver. And the world could stand to be a little kinder and braver. Thank you, Jill, for having the courage for this work and making me and the people around us better. The world needs your light. It's your time to shine bright and enjoy every moment ahead, knowing that you've made an unforgettable ripple of impact among us all. You will be incredibly missed by your Hanson family, and we hope to make you proud as we continue to live your legacy of making today just a little bit better than yesterday.
Up next is Mr. Ralph Bryant.
It is my honor to speak on behalf of 3 valued members of Team Lincoln who are retiring. We know that every staff member plays a really important role in the lives of children. I would argue that our paraeducators have a very special role because they get to see our kids across their entire school, oftentimes in the most unstructured settings of our schools. They often work with students who may need the most support, but also helping to ease the role for our classroom teachers. I want to honor these 3 members of our team and share that they have spent over 60 years at Lincoln Elementary. That's a really big I plan to roast them at our staff breakfast. Mrs. Rudine has worked in our Lincoln Library for the past 13 school years. She previously worked as a volunteer at Lincoln. In addition, she has spent the last several years supporting special education students and staff who have helped at St. Pat's. She has 5 children and 6 grandchildren. She has talents in connecting with students, where she has worked with every single student in our school through the library. In addition, she has helped to support special education staff at St. Pat's, as well as 1 grade level recess each day, and she has followed those kids every year. She stays with that group of kids because she values those relationships. In addition to helping everyone, Mrs. Rudine has been a tireless advocate for her school, encouraging others to work and substitute at our building. We have many people who have walked through the door because she has asked them to be part of our team. One of her colleagues shared that she had forced her to apply for a position, and she was someone from another country and didn't realize that was a position she could have. That has led to a career that has lasted over 10 years at our school. Mrs. Rudine, thank you for everything. She said, "Do I have to hug you?" And then she everyone else did it, so. Mrs. Kelly Welcher has spent 20 years as a para at Lincoln Elementary. She has been a general para, an office secretary, and most of those years as a special education para. Her husband Steve is here. He's been retired for a full year. Vacation is over. He has plans for that. Her 2 daughters, Katie, who lives in Des Moines, and Sarah, who lives in Cedar Falls, are also here, and her mom is here as well. I do want her plans for the future are being able to visit her daughters more often and to enjoy more nature and art projects. Mrs. Welter is kind and patient. She has a fantastic sense of humor, and she has the best internet jokes of all time. In fact, if she doesn't have one, she'll make one and include you in it. She has worked in every grade. She has worked with students from kindergarten through 6th grade. My all-time favorite memory of Mrs. Welter will forever be when she found a former student on a graduation walk who she hadn't seen for many years. And it was like this perfect moment of beauty, and it perfectly captures why we do our work. She was crying, he was reaching out for her. It's hard for me to think about it and not be tearful, but it's why we go to work every day and the impact that we have. I'm really glad we have a picture of that moment. We will always, always, always miss her moments in nature. She is someone who loves nature and loves capturing moments around our building. We'll keep your email address active. So please join me in congratulating Kelly. All right, Mrs. Conrad. She started at Lincoln in November 1994 when a note came home that Lincoln School needed someone to walk students back and forth to St. Pat's for title reading. Following this, Mrs. K worked in our Lincoln office for 12 years, and since that time she's been a general paraeducator. She has 2 daughters in the Cedar Rapids area. She has 7 granddaughters and 1 grandson who have all attended Lincoln Elementary at one time. Mrs. K has also supported every grade level and watched our countless groups move through our school. She loves our youngest students, in particular her kinders. She develops relationships with many of our toughest kids, and she does this through connections like humor and showing that she cares. She is infamous for kindergarten dance parties on Fridays in the cafeteria, and I'll let you decide who has better moves, the kinders or her. Maybe both. Maybe both. So and one of our colleagues, when asked by her, said she never goes to recess without an umbrella. She's always protected. So thank you, and please join me in congratulations.
I'm coming back up. I've had 2 cupcakes since I was last out.
Tyler Wayne.
That applause wasn't as big as my first one. I get to talk about Erin Gaines. Erin Gaines is finishing her 32nd year of full-time teaching. She also taught for 4 years as a substitute teacher, so she has spent 36 years in education in 3 districts: Eastern Almaquis, Abdullah and Almaquis, I got it right. Eastern Almaquis, Vinton, Shellsburg, and Cedar Falls. Erin taught 2nd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade during the early years of her career in education. And then for the past 30 years, she has been working with students in our Talented and Gifted program. In retirement, Erin is looking forward to not having a schedule, being able to stay up late or sleep in without a worry. She is also looking forward to being able to travel more and not having to lug around a computer bag everywhere she goes. Erin has spent many years working hard to challenge some of our highest achievers we have in our district. I remember when she was a talented and gifted teacher when I was at Hanson, and the looks on my students' faces when they returned from Mrs. Gaines' classroom. It was clear they were challenged, they were maybe frustrated a little bit, they got to work in a team, and then they always wanted to go back to Mrs. Gaines' classroom as well. Early in her career, years ago actually, a kindergarten student kept calling Erin Mrs. Games, and when Erin corrected the student, she said, "I just always have so much fun in your room, that's what I want to call you, and I'm going to keep calling you that." Erin has worked really hard during her education career to get to know her students and build strong relationships with them. I asked her some of her favorite memories. One of her favorite ones from her teaching career came when she was at a middle school that did not have a cafeteria in the middle school. So the teachers had to walk their students the 2.5 blocks to the high school where the cafeteria was every single day. And Erin truly enjoyed having that time to talk with her students and connect with them. Erin knew that a big part of her job was doing everything she could to enrich students and help them find new levels of achievement that they may not have thought was possible. And even with those high expectations that came with teaching talented and gifted students, she knew the importance of seeing her students as kids too. She knew they wanted to share their stories with her, have fun, and build some pretty great skills involving critical thinking and problem solving. Thanks for all your hard work over the years, Erin. Enjoy your well-deserved retirement. Erin Gaines.
Up next is Mr. Jones.
Apparently they think I'm a skilled bar, I don't know. Good seeing choice, Mr. Mueller. Unlike Mr. Bryant, the roasting is gonna happen right here. I think we're on Facebook Live back there, is that right, Janelle? So
On video.
See this as well, so, okay. Certainly a privilege and a pleasure to have the opportunity to speak on behalf of Mr. Jim Mueller in honor of the almost 2 decades that he has spent here in Cedar Falls Community School District, dedicating his time and energy to impacting students here at Holmes Junior High as a teacher and coach. This marks Jim's 33rd year as an educator. He is retiring at the end of this school year, and he's spent quite a journey on his way to Cedar Falls. And I'm just going to highlight a couple of those stops maybe as points of interest. He spent 4 years at Center Point Urbana Middle School teaching special education and health. And quite honestly, I really don't know if you can say you've taught unless you've taught health to 12 to 14 years old. Especially when you get to that human reproduction unit, there's always lots of good, enlightening questions that students have for teachers in that position. Jim, you could probably share some of those with us at some point in time. I'm also pretty sure that's why Jim was able to retire at this point, because I think there's some kind of secret formula that IPERS uses, kind of like combat pay, where you get extra years of service for that kind of a position that you're in there. Jim also spent time in Dunkerton teaching physical education before he became the 7th through 12th principal there. His last stop before joining us in Cedar Falls was as the principal, athletic director, and special education director at Jessup Middle School. When you're in small districts, lots of hats that you wear. So I think Jim was thankful for coming here 19 years ago, where he could just become a key member of our special education department at Holmes, working primarily in the area of providing resource support and co-teaching. During his time at Holmes, Jim's been the true definition of a team player. He's co-taught in virtually every grade level and likely nearly every subject at Holmes. I feel like there's every year we throw a curveball at him. 8th grade health, 7th grade English, 9th grade math. And what I would tell you is Jim always relinquished those assignments, relished those assignments, and with a positive demeanor, the best job that he could. When I think about Jim as an educator, he certainly understood the importance of building strong relationships with his students and families. He was an expert at developing positive rapport, but also holding students accountable for meeting high standards academically and behaviorally. His ability to do so often meant that he inherited some of the most challenging students in our building, academically and behaviorally. And his patience, his understanding, the support that he provided those students certainly allowed them to overcome their challenges and achieve at their fullest potential. In addition, he's always willing to go above and beyond his role as a teacher. He's coached, I don't know how many seasons of middle school sports, whether it was 8th grade football, boys and girls basketball at Holmes Junior High. And as a coach, he understood the importance of not only teaching students fundamentals, but more importantly, using the sport that he was teaching to teach the game of life, the life lessons of teamwork, perseverance, overcoming adversity, winning with humility, losing with grace, all life lessons that certainly the students are going to benefit from when they continue with their careers outside of Cedar Falls. In retirement, he's not going to fully retire. He's going to become a health coach at Marquee Health, which is a business that focuses on providing opportunities for businesses and helping them. I asked Jim if he could just maybe follow me around and I tried to put cookies in my mouth. have a real issue with at this point in time. He asked about a rate of pay for that. We're still negotiating on what that's going to look like. But he's also looking forward to moving with his family to Florida and hopefully not having to endure another Iowa winter, to enjoy this new career and spend time on the beach. When I asked Jim what he was going to miss about teaching, his immediate response was that he was going to miss all of the paperwork and progress monitoring that he was doing as a teacher. But then after he thought for a little bit longer, he said, this I think epitomizes who Jim is as an educator and as a person, that I'm going to miss the daily challenges that are presented by junior high students. The students need a little bit of extra encouragement, someone who will listen to them, and also his colleagues, fellow teachers and coaches. So, Mr. Mueller, on behalf of the entire Cedar Falls School District, thank you for all that you have done for our students and our community, and we wish you nothing but the best in your future endeavors.
And Jim, you can get a 2-for-1 with the cookie. So, up next is Pam Ziegler for Mr. Bill Davis.
Today I have the privilege of talking about Bill Babers. Bill graduated from Mossy Valley High School and then went to UNI where he got his bachelor's degree in secondary math and coaching. And after that, he went to Fort Dodge where he taught math and coached at Fort Dodge Senior High. When he was there, he won a KCCI and ISEA Hardy's Educator Excellence Award, so we can maybe learn more about that from Bill at some point. And he also got his master's degree from UNI in Educational Administration. In 1999, he decided that he wanted to go to Parkersburg, and he taught middle school and high school math at Atherton Parkersburg, and he also coached there. And in 2001, he decided the grass was sometimes greener on the other side, and he came to Pete Junior High to teach math at Pete, and he also coached there too. At Pete, he represented the Pete staff at the Blue Ribbon Award in Washington, D.C. And in 2010, he was named assistant principal in May of that year, and he was the assistant principal at Holmes Junior High. And then he moved to Pete Junior High as the head principal, and he's been there for 10 years. So that's quite an accomplishment. Bill says in one of his letters, I try to make every student feel like they're my favorite. He does a great job of fostering relationships with students and parents and staff and his peers. He has survived being an administrator during the COVID pandemic as well as junior high dances. He has worked hard to bring consistency and work collaboratively with the other junior high to build the similar curriculum throughout our junior highs. And he's also taught us where we can find the biggest tenderloins in Northeast Iowa. I hear in Bill's retirement that he's considering being a volunteer fire inspector. It is rumored that he's been showing students that hairspray does not set the vape detectors off. Only the vape detector was really a fire alarm, and hairspray does set fire alarms off, which activates emergency responses and causes those in a building to evacuate pretty quickly. I have to tell you, when I heard that, Bill, I just died laughing. Bill is very proud of his family, and it's obvious that his family means a lot to him. Hopefully he'll be able to spend a lot more time with them. When Bill applied to Cedar Falls, he shared that Cedar Falls would be a great place to teach, live, and raise a family. Well, Bill, that happened for you. We thank you for being an outstanding teacher and administrator in Cedar Falls. And at one of our administrative meetings, and actually even at one of Pete's staff meetings, one of the icebreakers was, tell us if there's a song that you would like to have played if you entered or exited a room. Bill chose this song, I understand, because he's a big Minnesota Viking fan. But Bill, congratulations, and this one's for you.
Next is Allison Kenner.
Rochelle.
Rochelle, I am so sorry.
No, you're fine.
Come on up, Rochelle.
I get the privilege to celebrate SB and congratulate her on her retirement. She has worked for almost 12 years for Cedar Falls Schools in food service. That's one of the most important things in the school, right, is eating lunch, right? She served breakfast at North Cedar. She's worked on River Hill Special Diet. She used to get those ready and send those out. She has ran the point of sale up at the high school. And then SB then became a department head of the vegetables until she left last September. SB is the employee everybody wants. She has a positive attitude at all times. You just don't find that very often. She greeted the students every day at lunch with a smile. She made our kitchen fun. It's not as fun anymore, SB. And who doesn't like to have fun while working? SB was a practical jokester and enjoyed scaring me. I called her my scare buddy since we took turns scaring each other. The best one was I hid in a cart and it was really, really hot. We have no air conditioning at the high school. And she took a while to get into her salad cart that day and I'm in there sweating. But I finally scared her. We have missed SB since she left in September, but we wish her nothing but the best. She has a grandson that she likes to go visit, and I want to thank you for all your service.
So now I realize why we have to replace some of our carts every year, because things come together. So this is something I don't get the opportunity to do very often, but I get to actually talk about two people today. Number one, and the first one is Rick Gersema. He was our Director of Buildings and Grounds for over 20 years. I can understand how difficult some of these conversations are when principals come up here to celebrate the work, the careers, the meaning of what individuals bring to our school system, and Rick is just that. Rick Gersema epitomizes dedication, professionalism, and optimism. Many times I've worked closely with Rick. Sometimes these situations involved great stress or challenges. Rick would always focus on the solution. Many times with a smile on his face. I can just hear Rick saying, well, yeah, you know, we'll get through this, and smile and chuckle, and he just always had that approach. Rick attracted people to him. Many times walking construction sites or out and about, Rick would, people would come up to Rick and just say hello. And many times I would say to Rick, geez, you are just really, really popular. Rick would say, I've been around a long time. I would say, you know what, I've worked with this company for many, many years, and I know in my heart, I would always say, that's not the reason, Rick. The reason is because you care about people and you care about those relationships. Last few comments I'd make about Rick is that Rick has this huge, big heart. He is a big in stature individual, but he is the most humble individual I have ever met. Rarely do you see someone with great expertise, high levels of intelligence, and such a humble, down-to-earth demeanor. Everything with Rick is always we. There are so many accomplishments in his 20-plus years that Rick has been employed with the district, from multiple building additions and remodels and multiple different enhancements, creating pesticide and insecticide plans for the district, as well as turf management across the district, things that a lot of people will never see or know. But his impact is great, and he leaves behind a legacy. It's because of these actions and many more, makes Rick a wonderful leader, tremendous employee, but an even more incredible person. Rick Gersema. Up next is Dr. Calvin. ignore that.
This is the 18th of these events that I've had the good fortune to attend. I've typically been in the back by the luscious spread, encouraging people to take that third slice of cake, the 14th cup of coffee. And I've often wondered as I've stood back and looked at the room, listened to the presentations, will Laurie be the one serving me a piece of cake when I retire? Or will I be the one standing in the front talking about Laurie? Because we are only 8 months apart in age. And so I'm really glad that her husband Bruce could be here today. This will be hard. There are few decisions a manager makes that are more important than selecting people. It is so important that we recommend including colleagues in the selection process. So I'd like you to join me in considering whether or not Laurie Bruns is qualifying for the role for which she has applied. Retiree. Let's take a look at her resume and references. Born and raised in Waukon. Well, off the bat, she's from Northeast Iowa, where we know everyone is above average. A Waldorf College degree and a fellow of the Life Management Institute, which, for those of you that don't know, an FMLI designation is the equivalent of having a bachelor's degree in insurance, which is a complicated area. What does that tell us? Well, Laurie, she's clearly well educated and intelligent. A 30-year career with a company in Waverly that originally was called Lutheran Mutual Insurance Company, changed its name to Century Companies of America, then became CUNA Mutual Life Insurance Company, and today is called True Stage. 22 of those 30 years, she was in human resources, 16 of them working alongside me, and then ending her career there in 2011 as a department supervisor, leading a department of 12 to 15 people. What does that tell us about Laurie? She is achievement-oriented, a lifelong learner, adaptable to change, all important attributes in retirement. 13 years ago, she joined the Human Resource Department at Cedar Falls Schools. Dependable, compassionate, servant-hearted, a quick learner. But working with me again for 13 years, we have to question her mental faculties and her Well, what about life outside work? Well, she plays bridge. She's involved in her community of Nashua, enjoys hosting family events, fishing in Minnesota, delights in her 2 grandchildren, has a green thumb, and she loves her dog, Buddy. Laurie clearly loves relationships. They're important to her. She's active. She's not one to be idle. She also enjoys reading history, poetry, biographies, self-improvement, wisdom. She's mentally curious. She wants to understand more about people, herself, the world around her, and what she may yet become. She notes in her application for this important role of retiree that one particular book covering all of these genres she returns to again and again. Well, let's look for a moment at a reference or two that she sent in with her application. Quote, I've known Laurie for many years. She's a tremendous partner, colleague, and friend. She lives her life trying to, quote, let her light so shine before man that she sees the good deeds and they may give praise to their Father in heaven. Quote, whatever Laurie does, whether at work or in her family, she works at it all of her heart. Excuse me. This is a human resource. She works at it with all her heart. The Lord, not her human masters. The final reference closes with the following statement. Anyone who has been fortunate to encounter and especially get to know Laurie Prince will tell you that she will take on retirement as she has in personal and professional life. She will live a gracious and purpose-driven life, 100% committed, focused on the best interest and well-being of all those whom she encounters. She'll make a great retiree. So, Laurie, I looked in that good book you recommend so highly, the one you refer to as the good book. Selfishly, we'd like to deny your retirement application. Because, as one of the writers in that book states, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. However, after reviewing your qualifications, personal attributes, talents, and suitability, I can say with absolute conviction and tremendous personal gratitude, well done, good, faithful servant. The application is approved. Congratulations on your selection to become a retiree.
So, this is the final recognition of the evening that we have. I have learned a great lesson tonight. Go first, don't go last. Follow some of these great presentations and speeches. Tonight, our last retiree for our recognition is Mrs. Pam Ziegler. Pam has been, for the last 5 years, the Associate Superintendent within our district. There is so much to say about Pam. So many stories, characteristics, funny comments, moments shared about difficult decisions. She made the comparison between the junior high dance earlier and the COVID pandemic. I still think junior high dances might be worse. But again, there's so many great moments shared over the last many, many years. Pam at her core is simply a nice person. She cares. She cares about individuals, making them feel worthwhile and happy. Pam cares about accuracy. She cares about ensuring details and processes are always carried out. She epitomizes the golden rule. Hello? How are you?
Wonderful.
Fantastic. I am not sure I've ever heard Pam utter a negative word about an individual. This shines true in the long-lasting relationships that she builds. Many times I've heard, witnessed, seen former students, parents, staff members from former districts run up to her to say hello or to see how she's doing. The impact she has had on current and former students is immeasurable. There are way too many accomplishments to mention that Pam has led, initiated, or took part in, from championing and leading the PLC work, supporting building principles, curriculum adoption, building construction projects, etc., etc., etc. Pam is a servant leader. She strives to make the lives of our teachers, our staff, our administrators easier so they can educate our kids at the highest level. She goes above and beyond in multiple ways that, again, people may never see. However, all these items, as a servant leader, can ensure that we focus on our vision, every student, every day. I'm so happy that Pam can now get to serve her grandbaby and grandbabies, which might be slightly more enjoyable than some of the other servant leadership that you provided in different ways. However, I know I'm a better leader from having the opportunity to work with Pam, who's also a better person because of her. She by nature makes those around her better. Pam's in. So that concludes our service recognition. Thank you for all of our retirees and those members that have been with the district for 10 plus years. We do have many, many cupcakes, some chocolate cupcakes left over as well. Please enjoy those. Again, thank you for your service. Thank you for your legacy you've left amongst all of our community, and especially our students. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you, everybody.